This is actually a time lapse for a YouTube little Lego style YouTube play button that YouTube sent me. I actually did a time lapse and then posted it as a short. But today I'd like to actually make it into sort of an phoneception type thing, so I can put it inside of this phone, and then of course I would then proceed to actually post it as a YouTube short, so maybe we could get some phoneception of people watching, watching on their phone, then watching the thing on the phone on a phone that's watching. Yeah. Anyway, and finally, and before you guys ask, I do want to say this layer is just this. Now, what you're seeing on screen right now is the end result, okay? So if that interests you to learn how to do something like that, then this video is for you. Okay, so what we have to do, first of all, is actually go into Fusion, okay? Fusion is where we start. Yes, I know it seems pretty scary, but I can assure you we are not doing too much too fast. Okay, actually I like Fusion is not where we start. Okay, we gotta go back to edit and do one thing real quick, which is right click on the layer that you are actually doing for the project and then hit new Fusion clip. Now, once we are in Fusion, we will immediately get rid of this, okay? And then we will go ahead and let's rename this first, okay? So a shortcut is hit File 2, click on the node that you want, then click File 2, and it will let you rename it. When I renamed it to video, and then hit OK, and then what we are going to do is, you guys saw the iPhone that I had? Well, we are going to drag that same PNG. Yes, you'll need a PNG for this to work properly. We're going to drag that PNG into here, okay? And then we are going to then proceed to also hit File 2 hit File 2. Sorry about that, I was on the wrong monitor. Hit File 2 to rename this, and we're going to call this one phone because it's the phone, right? And then after we got that done, we can put both of these right next to each other. And then after we get done renaming it, we want to make sure we're not clicked on anything. So just click on the blank space here. Then click on background. And then we want to connect this end to this end here. And it will make a merge layer because both of those are merged, which means they are connected, okay? And then after that, we want to connect this end here to this end of the merge layer and make a second merge layer. Yes. And then this will then proceed to connect to here. So now we're actually getting somewhere where we want to be. We actually see the stuff on this little screen here now, which is what we need to do because we can't actually do anything if we can't see anything. Right now, what we need to do is actually make it so this form factor gets put in here, right? So what we will need to do is mask it, actually. And in order to do that, we are going to grab the rectangle mask tool, okay? Bring it down here. I like keeping my stuff somewhat organized when it comes to nodes. We're going to connect these right here. And then that will enable us to actually do this. And then we can also move up as we need as well. Okay. I personally sometimes I like pinpoint accuracy, but this should suffice, honestly. We might fiddle around with it more in the future if we need to, but so far, this will suffice with what we want. We can change more later. We can obviously mess around. We can do it this way if you rather. If you really don't want to drag and drop, you can do it that way. And I know what you're thinking, but we can always change the corner radius to actually get that in there in case you were thinking, oh, it's not good because there's no corner radius. Well, there you go. Problem solved. Am I right or am I right? But as you can probably guess, we do want a bit more of the play button in the actual shot than it is, okay? Maybe not the most more in the world, but we do want a little bit more. So we're going to actually click on the video node and then hit Shift space, okay? And we're gonna search for transform. Transform XF is the one we want. We just click add, and then transform will let us adjust the size here as we want. We can adjust the size, we can adjust the pivot so it moves over here a little bit more, and then we just have it in frame exactly how we want it, honestly. Yeah, we just have it in there and everything is real good. Let's undo the aspect ratio, just Control Z to undo that. And there we go with that. So that's how we have it so far, which honestly, if you wanted to, you could call this complete. But there are still a few little things that we have to do, okay? And that has to do with the background itself, okay? Because what if we want to be, we want to be a background like that, okay? And, if you want to see more what's going on, you can just increase this to as you need it. And which we might need it for the next part, because we're going to do a little bit more, which granted we could actually do in the edit tab, but I'm just going to do this part real quick in the Fusion tab and show you guys how to do that, and then we could go back to the edit tab, okay? So while we're still in the Fusion tab, you want to click on our merge to node, okay? So the merge to node is connected to the phone thing and not the video. So that's what we want. This is just, like I said, another added bonus. We could technically do this in the Edit tab, but we get a bit more options in the Fusion tab, which is, again, Shift space. In order to do that, we're going to search drop for drop shadow. Yes, drop shadow. And now we have a drop shadow. We can change the angle as we want. Yeah, like I think that angle is perfectly fine. We could change the shadow strength as we want. Yeah, honestly, let's just go back to the angle that it was, but we will keep the strength a bit darker. We can even change the blur, so it's either more blurry or less blurry. So we have that going for us. And honestly, that is looking good. That is looking very good. I'm not so sure about something here. Okay, well, if I'm not so sure about something, guess what? We can always go back into the Fusion tab, and we have a product right here, okay? Right here and ready and raring to go, okay? So we can actually pick where it begins. We are actually going to make what's called a keyframe, okay? We are going to have this be the endpoint of the keyframe, okay? And then we're gonna come back to 0 and actually pivot this a bit over this way. Yeah. I think about here works. Then once we play it, the time lapse will actually just keep on going. And now that we have it the way we want it, we are going back to edit. Now, I will be honest. First of all, I'm going to take these away because we actually don't want it to fade. I will be honest, Fusion can actually, like if you don't have the best computer in the world or the most powerful computer in the world, it might take a bit longer and you may have to close like just about literally everything to get it to work right, because Fusion can be crazy. But as you can see, playback is running smoothly and fine on the Edit tab. It's just with Fusion, it actually has to load all those extra options every single time. And as you can see, we have the keyframe thing happening. So it's doing a keyframe slowly. It's panning over. So when we get to the end, it will actually end exactly where we want it. You saw that at the end there. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. And then you guys see it ends exactly like that. So this is basically phoneception, YouTube play button thing short. And what we are going to do is export this just like you would export anything. So we're going to go to the Deliver tab and then hit Export, render it out, and whatnot. So yeah, we'll render it out, and then I guess I'll go through the final steps with you how to properly make it a YouTube short as well, just so you guys know those details as well, okay? And after you render it out, what you want to do is go over to the TikTok timeline, or rather, if you're if you don't have another timeline, that's okay. You would just create a new timeline by right-clicking anywhere in the media pool, going to timeline, then create new timeline. Now, ideally, what you'd want to do is make sure that the timeline is, well, what you want for this is use vertical resolution, okay? Then it would just change it to vertical. Now, with that said, I'm going to hit cancel because I already have a timeline here exactly for that, as you can see. And all we're going to do is drag and drop, okay? Now, we didn't have any audio, so what I'm going to do is just go ahead and get rid of this audio track. We don't need it. And then, as you can see, everything is exactly how we did it. Exactly how we want it, honestly. What we can do is we can even make this a little bit bigger if we want, but I think I did pretty good with the size. You can play around with the size, make it bigger or smaller. I'll make it a touch bigger, I guess. Yeah. I mean, you can even add more stuff to it if you really want to, because it's been rendered out already. So if you wanted to, you could add like glow to it. You could add more drop shadow. Like if I wanted to come here, I could add another drop shadow, but it would add it to the whole thing, which I don't know. I just don't like that added extra drop shadow. I know it may not seem like much, but yeah. Then you'd just render this out again, okay? Or alternatively, if we went back to the regular timeline, what you could alternatively do is just render this out by itself, okay? But then you would have a whole thing where the background would just be, I don't think YouTube Shorts do transparent backgrounds or officially support them. I'm not sure. So chances are it would just be a white background or a black background. Not really sure. That's why I did it this way. And I kind of like the whole phoneception thing I have going on as of right now. But yeah, definitely let me know your thoughts on the matter, okay? But yeah, that's basically how you would do everything. You just render this out again, then upload it at a YouTube short or whatnot, and there you go. Hopefully this has helped you in some way, shape, or form. And with that said, I will catch you guys in the future. Later.